The conversation gets tense. You feel that familiar heat rising in your chest, and right at the moment a fight should start, you're gone. You don't scream, you don't storm off with a slam of the door. You just go quiet. Maybe you physically leave the room, letting the door click shut behind you, or maybe you just check out emotionally. Your eyes glaze over, your presence fades, and suddenly, you're a ghost in your own life. It feels like a conscious choice, but it's really a reflex you never even asked for. If you've ever felt yourself disappear when things get heated, it's not because you're weak, and it's not because you don't care. We're going to look at the actual science of how your nervous system learned that silence was the only way to survive. So, what does this disappearing act actually look like? It almost always starts in the body. As the conflict starts to bubble up, a switch gets flipped. For some, it's a dizzying surge of energy. Your heart races, your chest gets tight, and you feel utterly trapped. For others, it's the exact opposite. A sudden, draining emptiness. A thick fog rolls into your brain. Your arms and legs feel like lead, and your voice feels like it's a million miles away. To the outside world, it looks like you're withdrawing. People might have called you avoidant, passive, or even cold. They see you shut down, give one-word answers, or literally walk away from a hard conversation. What they don't see is the chaos happening inside. Your mind might be scrambling to find the right words or the safe words, only to come up blank, or it just goes completely empty. A brilliant, self-protective move to stop you from saying anything that could make it all worse. And this doesn't just happen in romantic relationships. It can be with a demanding boss, a critical parent, or a disappointed friend. The trigger isn't the person, it's the feeling of emotional danger. Your brain doesn't really know the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and the conversation that threatens your sense of safety. It just registers threat and deploys its most reliable survival tactic, disappearing. While it might be labeled stonewalling, it's rarely a malicious attempt to punish the other person. It's an unconscious, deeply wired instinct for self-preservation. You aren't trying to control them, you're trying to control the tornado inside of you. That silence isn't empty, it's screaming with all the things you're too scared or just too tired to say. If this whole pattern feels automatic, like you're a passenger in your own body, that's because you are. This is not a character flaw, it's a psychological response that comes from your automatic nervous system. Specifically, it's a state known as the freeze response. We've all heard of fight or flight, right? When you're faced with a threat, your body floods with adrenaline to either fight your way out or run for the hills. But there's a third option, one we don't really talk about as much. When your brain decides that both fighting and fleeing are bad ideas, it defaults to freeze. Think of an animal playing dead to escape a predator. The body goes still, the heart rate can actually slow down, you feel numb or detached from what's happening. This isn't just a nice metaphor, it's pure biology, a framework called polyvagal theory, developed by Dr. Stephen Porges, gives us a roadmap for this experience. It explains that when our brain's built-in threat detector, a process he calls neuroception, screams overwhelming danger, a part of our nervous system called the dorsal vagal nerve can pull the emergency brake. It's a state of shutdown designed to conserve energy and keep you from being harmed further. For people who walk away from arguments, conflict itself has become that overwhelming threat. A raised voice, a critical tone, the feeling of being totally misunderstood. These are the cues that tell your body that fighting back or running away won't work. Your system learned, probably long ago, that the only way to weather the storm was to become as small and as still as possible. So when you go quiet, you're not making a conscious choice to be difficult. Your body is choosing survival over conversation. This response didn't come from nowhere, it was learned. The blueprint for this shutdown reflex is often created in childhood. If you grew up in a home where showing your feelings led to punishment, mockery, or just plain chaos, your little nervous system paid attention and adapted. Maybe anger in your house was explosive and terrifying, so you learned to become invisible to avoid getting caught in the crossfire. Or maybe your needs were so consistently ignored that you learned there was no point in even asking, because it only led to feeling stupid or ashamed. In some families, the silent treatment is used as a weapon, which teaches a child a devastating lesson. When there's conflict, I will be abandoned, and I have to fix it to be loved again. This experience wires you for what psychologists call an avoidant attachment style. You learn that emotional closeness is unreliable, and that real safety is found in self-reliance. Your brain writes a very simple but powerful rule: disagreement equals danger. and silence equals safety. As an adult, that old software is still running. Even in a safe, loving relationship, a slight shift in your partner's tone can set off that ancient alarm bell. Your nervous system isn't reacting to your partner in this moment. It's reacting to the ghost of a threat from your past. It's an echo from a time when disappearing was the only thing that kept you safe. Researcher Dr. John Gottman calls this emotional flooding. He found that during intense conflict, our bodies get so overwhelmed by stress hormones that the rational, problem-solving part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, literally goes offline. It becomes psychologically impossible to think clearly or listen with empathy. You're not choosing to be irrational. Your brain has temporarily lost the ability. In that state, walking away isn't an attack. It's a desperate scramble for psychological oxygen. Let's be honest. In the short term, disappearing works. It provides immediate relief. Your nervous system calms down, and the feeling of being crushed subsides, and you feel safe again. But this strategy comes with a huge long-term price tag. When you never talk about the hard stuff, it doesn't just go away. Frustrations build into a quiet, simmering resentment. True intimacy starts to fade, because real connection demands that we show up even when it's messy. And you can't do that if you can't navigate a disagreement. Over time, you can feel profoundly alone, even with the person you love the most. The very strategy you use to protect yourself ends up creating the isolation you were trying to avoid. The other hidden cost is that you never get to learn that you can survive a conflict. Your nervous system's prediction of total disaster is never proven wrong, so the pattern just gets stronger. Small disagreements that could be solved in 5 minutes start to feel like terrifying, unbeatable monsters. So, what can you do? The most powerful first step is the one you're taking right now. Understanding. Realizing this is a psychological response, not a personal failure. It helps you shift from self-blame, what is wrong with me, to gentle curiosity. What is this trying to protect me from? Growth here isn't about learning to fight better. It's about learning how to create safety inside yourself so you can stay present when things get uncomfortable. This starts by recognizing the very first whispers of flooding in your body. The tight chest, the foggy brain, and the powerful urge to bolt. Those are your cues. Instead of trying to power through, the goal is to learn to pause. This can sound as simple as, I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. I need to take a 20-minute break, but I promise I'll come back to this. That one sentence is revolutionary. It honors your body's need for safety, and it reassures your partner that you aren't abandoning them. During that break, your only job is to soothe your nervous system. Do something that signals to your body that the threat is gone. This could be slow, deep breaths, splashing cold water on your face, or simply just walking around the block and feeling your feet on the ground. This isn't a quick fix. This is the slow, compassionate work of repatterning a nervous system that has been working overtime to protect you for your entire life. It's about learning to sit with discomfort without letting it take over the driver's seat. And here's the most important part. You don't have to become some master debater or a confrontational person. You just have to feel safe enough in your own skin to stay present with yourself, and to stay connected to the people you love, even when it's hard. Your silence was never a sign that you didn't care. It was your shield. It was smart, and it got you this far. And now you can start to build new tools. Tools that allow you not just to survive, but to truly connect. If any of this hit home, let me know in the comments. Your story matters, and sharing it helps every single one of us feel a little less alone.